Call the Scott Township Board of Supervisors meeting to order. Start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, before we start the meeting tonight, I got a couple of announcements to make. There was an executive session held on 10/19 with the Board of Supervisors, 10/9 with the Board of Supervisors, Sewer Authority, and Glaze Associates dealing with possible litigation. There was also an executive session dealing with personnel on 10/17, and that was with the preschool. And also another executive session at the first executive session was 10/17. There was another executive session tonight, 10/18. And also there will be an executive session after the meeting dealing with personnel. Okay. We'll start with Rick.
Regarding the, tonight was the time that we had announced that we would open the bids for the insurance proposals we had advertised for. The deadline for receipt of the bids as advertised was this past Tuesday. I received, and as the supervisors instructed, the bids were sent to my office. I received 3 envelopes. 2 envelopes are from the same agency, which I'm guessing might be just 2 separate, one proposal on one of the insurance specs and one on the other. And then I received another one today, was hand-delivered, and I don't know who it's from. None of them are open, they're all still sealed. It's my recommendation that since the bid request for proposal said that they were due by Tuesday, that this bid not be considered, which would leave us with presumably only one proposal. And you didn't even actually get me from your current insurers, and it's my understanding, because I got a message from them today that they had not been aware, our current insurers have not been aware that proposals have been requested. So rather than go through and open these, it's one that's bad and only one to look at, and I don't know what good it's going to do you, and I wouldn't want to taint this company's bid by opening it tonight. I don't know what you would accomplish anyway with just having one proposal to look at. In my opinion, you need to look at several to see where you're at. Okay. So my recommendation would be not opening any of these. We just simply reject them. We should probably put a motion on tonight to reject even accepting them, and then rerun an ad and have them for next month. This way, this bid would be tainted. Nobody knows what's in it. I'll mail it back to them, or hand deliver it back to them. They're from Scranton, so we can have it redelivered to them.
Excuse me, Mr. Finnigan, may I ask a question at this point regarding that? Is that in order?
It's easy to ask.
Thank you. Colette Hughes, Scott Township. What is the law state regarding the rejection of bids? I'm just curious on that.
Well, the supervisors are always free to accept or reject any and all bids. They can reject bids for whatever reason they want. In this case, we're not even opening them, so we're not rejecting them for material purposes, because we're not happy with them. It just because of the way the procedure went, I would suggest that they're not satisfied only getting one quote. So I think to give the whole goal here, and by the way, they're not required by law at all to solicit bids for insurance.
I see.
They don't have to bid. Insurance is something that's excluded from the bidding requirements. So they don't even have to do this, but I think if the board was being prudent in just, doing some checks and balances to see where they're at in relation to the rest of the insurance world, and it's good to do every now and then.
Okay, anything else, Rick?
Nope.
Zoning, Carl.
So, just one more thing to make clear, so I would suggest we add.
Motion 6.
Motion 6 to reject the acceptance of the insurance bids and to authorize the re-advertisement for next month. And when would you want them? Would you want them for the work session or the regular meeting?
It don't matter. I don't think it really matters any.
I mean, the only thing with if we do it for the work session,
We
you
don't
can't
always
cancel
Let's do it for the meeting.
for the meeting. Well, that puts you into November now. In that time, I forget, but was the coverages effective for, they weren't effective for January 1, right?
No, they didn't start, Jim.
Oh, they would? See, but that's my only concern, is you need to act quick, because you want to.
Then let's have a work session for November and take them at the work session.
Because you're gonna need time, even when you open them, if you open them at your meeting, think about it, you're gonna need time to review them, compare them. And so you would have a few extra days to do that if you did it for the work session. That's my only
Let's do it for the work session.
So that would be November 8th. The 8th. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else, Rick?
No.
Carl?
Trumpicus minor subdivisions on here, that was kind of by the planning commission, so that's not an issue. We have the Carnudiac lot line adjustment. This is on George Street up at Channel Lake. Carnudiacs, they have a house on a lot up there. They bought the lot next door to them that also had a cottage on it. They removed the cottage and they want to combine the empty lot with their lot. It's kind of a no-brainer. It's been reviewed by the county and recommended for approval by them. And I would recommend you approve it here.
I think both non-conforming and this.
Yes, this will make it closer to conforming. This is the existing lot, and this is the small lot that they bought. So they're just going to combine this piece into this piece.
Anything else, Carl?
No, that's all I have. Yeah, no, that's all I have.
Is there a representative from the Lackawanna County Commissioners here? Public comment on agenda items only. I know there's some people here with some questions or comments about the preschool that will happen after we go through our motions. This public comment right now is on the agenda items only. Is there any comments?
You said you're going to open the bids at the work session.
Correct.
Are you going to have a special meeting to award, or
No, I think we could follow up at the regular meeting.
you're just going to follow up, that you're not going to vote on accepting or rejecting
No.
anything on that night?
On the work session, no.
Just
Just open them.
Correct.
Chances are, Stanley, they're gonna need, my guess was because of the nature of them, they're gonna need to have time to review them, so nothing can happen that night anyway. We'll just open them in public and review them, hopefully in time for the following week's meeting.
All right.
Anything else? Anybody else for public comment on agenda items only? Okay. We have a motion to approve the minutes as read, printed, for September 20th, 2012.
I'll make the motion.
Second? All in favor? Aye. Okay, we'll move on to committee reports. Police reports are attached. Roads, no report. Parks and Recreation, no report. Planning Commission minutes are attached. Zoning officer report is attached. And the zoning hearing board has no report. Administration reports, financial reports are attached, and presentation of bills are attached. Supervisors, Ed?
I'll just say, we are proceeding with the RUS loan. I believe it's been approved. We need to address hiring a CPA to do our audits according to the loan terms. Rick, you're aware of those?
I am. Yeah, as part of the conditions of getting this loan, we were made aware that we are going to be required to have a formal CPA do our audits, as opposed to the auditors. It's going to happen while the loan is in effect. We're going to be So you have to, at least at this point, per the most recent letter I got from RUS, you have to at least have a letter of engagement. So probably by next month, you should talk about hiring a CPA. It's a professional service. It's not something you're obligated to bid out. You can if you choose to.
Do we need a motion on it?
For tonight, to
In general, do we need one?
well, no, yeah, when you hire, when you hire.
If the pool doesn't close until after the first year, you won't be in commission.
One of the requirements that they have is we have to have a letter of engagement for the next auditing period in place.
So you suggest doing it?
Yeah, they actually want a letter of engagement that we hired somebody. They want to see that we hired somebody before they'll close the one. So by next month, you should probably, plus, the township code says that, I think it's 30 days. I think you have to notify or give notice to the auditors.
Section 917.
917, thank you, Tom. Is it 30 days?
There's several options there.
I haven't looked at it in a while. Appointment of accountant. At least 30 days prior to the organizational meeting or 30 days prior to any vote. To advertise in newspapers. You have to advertise in newspaper the intent to appoint a certified public accountant to do the audit. So maybe that's what we should put on the agenda tonight, if anything. Just to authorize the advertisement of the township's intent to go forward to appoint a CPA or certified public accountant to do the audit in place of the auditors.
Okay, we'll add that as motion number
I'd
7.
rather get that moving forward, so this way you'll still have time. Of intent to appoint a CPA or the language is competent public accountant, certified or competent public accountant.
For the year of,
To replace the elected auditors.
for
2013.
But they're actually got it in 2012, though.
And you could act 2000, no. Well, but they start in 2013. So the audit that you're doing would be for 2000.
Correct.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm just wondering if we should vote for 2012 and all future years until,
In terms of lease or something.
Oh, yeah.
Lawyers ask for it.
so you won't have to keep doing it every year. I think the resolution should probably be that way, because you're required by law to have them while they're in effect, but to have them for 20 years likely.
Hope not.
Well, it's 20 year long.
Also, Dave, we are proceeding with the demolition of one road downstairs to make room for a county lease. Rick,
I'm sorry?
We're making progress on demolishing the road downstairs and looking at leasing it to the county.
Yeah.
The Boilermaker lease in place with the county now, I believe.
Well, going back when it was discussed a couple months ago, they had, I think you're aware, wanted just a pro forma lease to look at. I wasn't able to put in any terms because there were no terms agreed upon or any terms discussed. So I did give them a boiler form plate lease, but that needs now to be, if it's your intention to go forward and move forward with the leasing of that property, I just need the details and I could fill in the blanks. So,
Will you move forward with that?
oh, absolutely, I will.
The,
That's a definite. What's our conservation?
It's 95%. If they don't take it, somebody else will take it.
I heard they're their lease is still good till 2014,
They have to give 6 months' notice to,
and they missed that date.
they have to give, from what I'm being told, Stanley, they have to give 6 months' notice to their landlord.
And I also was told that they don't know why you proceeded with the demolition and the expenditure of money when you had no lease with them, and
Well,
they're not
that's-
positive.
That's, regardless, Stanley, if they take it or not, somebody else will take the space.
I realize that.
And some of the rumors you heard are incorrect. I was told by the county, by public officials, that they need to give a 6-month notice to their landlord.
I don't think they was not telling me the truth.
That I'm being lied to.
But it's very possible. Well, you assume what you heard is the truth. I'm assuming what I heard is the truth. And they're two different truths.
So I could probably clear this right up for both of you, because I have their current lease right in front of me.
Perfect.
Their lease was a 5-year lease that started in 2003 and expired in 2008. There's a renewal provision that said that unless either party shall give the other written notice for removal at least 6 months prior to the end of the term, the lease would continue for a further period of 1 year. So basically, it was 5 years initially, then it kept going year to year, unless the other gave 6 months' notice. So that's kind of where it happened. And it would go until, so apparently renewed, February 29th would be the end of the term.
Right, but they didn't meet the 6-month requirement to say that they're not going to take the lease. So therefore, they had at least 1 more year to stand up to their agreement. So they couldn't come here till 2014 at the earliest.
They
They
did
did
come here. And that could be, the leases,
Unless
I mean,
the person
we don't know
who's
what they know,
holding the lease-
Stanley. Maybe they have a
And
deal
I
worked
agree
out.
with you.
Yeah, maybe they have a deal worked out.
I agree with you, but I can never, ever remember it being discussed here to say, well, we're gonna definitely do this, yes, let's vote on this, that we're gonna, it never happened here. It never happened. It was all assumption that, oh, we're looking into this, we're looking into that. But now the room is being remodeled under the pretense that it's going to be leased by the county. And I think you're getting some wrong information here to the public.
No, that's your opinion, Stanley.
And it's my opinion, you're right.
Stanley, I'm being told by one of the commissioners that they
And I know who you're being told by.
that they would be able to come February or March. If something happens that they can't, we'll open the space up to somebody else. We have a lot of people interested in renting spaces.
But you never voted on doing it.
All we did so far, Stanley, was tear down the existing old walls, the coating on the walls. It's maintenance on the building, as far as I'm concerned. I don't think we have to vote on maintenance on the building.
If you don't, you're 100% right. But it is proper to keep the public informed.
We're trying to do that, absolutely.
No, you're not. You're not really. It's about around the back door, but.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm trying to make an income for the township. I apologize.
The trucks are also, spreaders are on, cutting edge, they're all in fine shape. They're all prepped for snow. We're still working on Ford. Get a second opinion on that one, and Dodge should be ready by the middle of next week. So we will have definitely 3 trucks up and running, and possibly a 4th, along with the 3/4 ton, which plows equipment, and will be plowing the Civic Center. And
Possibly.
the pumping stations, which we need to work out with the sewer authority.
Anything else, Ed?
That's it.
Okay, I don't have that. Since we added another motion, I believe, to the agenda, I'll open back to public comment on the auditors. Is there any public comment on that motion?
On the auditors, what? Excuse me, I'm not understanding the opening up the discussion. On the auditors, what?
What we have to do is we have to hire a CPA.
Oh, I see, okay.
Because we're taking that
Yeah,
vote.
got it.
Correspondence have been,
Is it a requirement that you notify our board of auditors?
Oh, I would assume when
That's what the ad
That's what the ad's for.
You got it. Correspondence have been previously distributed to appropriate parties. Moving on to motions, Tom.
Before you, I did have one,
Oh, sorry.
that's okay, I did have one other thing to add. I spoke to Mike Gianetta, and we had, recall last month that I had given you copies of the draft intermunicipal cooperation agreement.
Yes.
Reviewed it. Did any of the board have any comments on that?
No, we trust your package.
Well, thank you. But, so the next step is that I'm gonna send this down to Blakely Borough to get, we need their approval on it, and they need to act on it.
Did we get anything from South Abington yet for that one house?
I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, I believe there was a sewer lateral run down to a house in South Abington.
I'm not aware of that.
On Lower Lake Road.
Lake Road, yes.
Okay.
We need to contact South Ave as well.
Are they hooked up to it? Stanley, do you know?
Pardon?
The house on Lower Lake Road in development, that's in South
The
Abington?
last one on the right.
Yes, they hooked it into the system.
I don't know if they're hooked, but I think they put a lateral there. But I don't know if they're hooked. Carl might be inside.
If you know the name, I think there was one that the township line went through, and I think they are.
That's the one.
That's caused, Bob caused, he is going before,
Right, yeah.
it's the next one down.
Okay, I don't.
Down off the Linden, when you go down Linden.
Okay, I don't know if they're not.
That was very bottom.
Yeah, I don't think they are. The one right next to them is, with the township line kind of goes through his house, he's hooked up.
Yeah, Bob is.
All right, anything else, Rick?
No?
We'll have into motions? What is, I'm sorry.
Sorry, with the agreement with Blakely, that's just the agreement with Blakely, now what's the next step? I mean, how long do you give, do they notify, our board notifies them to hook up, and how many days? Is there any criteria set for that?
The way the intermunicipal agreement has been worded, basically if they authorize it, we could take that house as though it's ours, as though it was located in Scott Township, and they are now subject to all the rules and regulations of our ordinances, hookup ordinance, et cetera. So we can then just step in and notify the property owner that they have to hook up and that kind of stuff.
So what kind of a turnaround time are you giving Blakely to get back to you? Is there do you have
I'm going to ask, their solicitor is already aware that it's coming.
Okay.
He hasn't seen it yet because I wanted my board to be able to review it first. Probably another month, Joe, I would think, because.
The only reason why I'm asking, if they do respond prior to our next meeting, are you going to give some recommendation that they have to act on as to asking Carl that, can he send out a letter to them? They have so many days to do that. And plus,
Will that go back to the sewer authority, Rick?
We have to give them 90 days by ordinance. We have to notify them, we give them 90 days to hook up from whenever this is signed, we have to give them 90 days from that. As soon as they have a signed copy of this, John, I will send them a letter.
Well, as far as them handling.
Yes, it would be handled no different as if the house was in Scott Township. It would be the same.
well, the question that came up at the Sewer and Water Authority was, since they are not a resident of Scott Township, how are they going to acquire the actual writer? Because it was free to all us.
The way this is worded is they would be entitled to that no different than if they were a Scott Township resident.
Okay.
That would be my opinion. I think it's only fair.
Well, that's why I'm just asking,
You're going to
because the
subject
question
them to
didn't come up.
the requirements and the sewer and everything, but I think you give them the same benefits.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Motions?
Motion one to pay the November payroll. Have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Motion two to pay general fund and state fund bills as presented. Have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Motion three to approve financial reports as presented.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Motion four to adopt ordinance 12-10-18-001 relating to the operation and maintenance of cemeteries and burial places. Have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Motion five to appoint Dennis Davison to serve the unexpired term of Jim Francis on the Scott Township Sewer and Water Authority. term to be 2 years and 2 months. Do I have a motion?
Before I make that motion, I would just like to make a comment to the public that there was a letter of interest turned into the Board of Supervisors. Dennis Davidson requesting to be placed on the authority. I will make that motion.
Second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Motion 6, to reject acceptance of insurance bids, to rebid and set date of receipt of November 8th work session for review.
I'll make the motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Motion 7, to authorize advertisement of intent to appoint a CPA for competent public accountant to replace auditors for 2012 and all years thereafter. A motion?
I would like that to say for the term of the law. Rick, is there a problem with that?
No.
I don't see a problem.
Term.
Yeah. Do we have to specify what law?
The RUS law. That's the RUS.
Read.
You could, please.
To authorize advertisement of intent to appoint a CPR or competent public accountant to replace auditors for 2012 and all years thereafter for the term of the RUS loan.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay. Now we'll go to
On December 12th, we're going to have a meeting with as many veterans as want to come for the memorial. Just nothing formal, just a get together that night and see what we can come up
what
with.
time, Stanley?
7 o'clock, 7 o'clock in here.
Could the Scranton Times be so kind to add that here?
Yeah.
We're looking at putting a memorial out front of the building for the veterans. If you could just put that date and time.
Stanley, is the Parks and Recreation Committee going to be involved in this as well?
Anybody can be. Right now, we're just trying to get enough vets together to see what we can do with it.
Okay, because I know they expressed interest in it before.
Yeah, anybody can get involved in it, but right now, like I say, it's just a meeting for the vets to see how many people are interested in it. And I mean, we're going to proceed, whether we have 10 or we have 100, we're going to proceed with it and see what we can come up with.
Great, that's good. Thank you. Public comment. Go ahead. Yes.
Colette Hughes, just some general questions about the treasurer's report. I'm not understanding how the report is issued in regard to the earnings on page 1 from the balance sheet. I just need some help in understanding what retained earnings are and then a negative net income. What does that mean?
Please address that.
On the general fund?
It's under this, page 1, Scott Township State Fund, the balance sheet.
The state fund.
Now, that's separate from the general fund?
Correct, yes.
So the general fund would be where on this?
On page 1, under...
Back about 4 pages.
Okay, the Scott Township balance sheet,
Yes,
that one. Okay, so,
which reflects $575,745.
all right. So then, first of all, back to the state fund, if I may, what does that mean exactly?
State fund is actually liquid fuels money that we receive from the state to maintenance basically on our roads.
Okay, so then the negative income, what does that mean as opposed, I just don't understand why it's put that way.
We started off the year with a surplus because there were some bills that actually, merchandise had been bought, but we had not paid for it in 2011. So we came into the year, this only reflects the year of 2012. It doesn't reflect prior years. So we actually, if you're just looking at income for this year, we spent more this year than we took in.
But we had a surplus from last year.
So that surplus is reflected in the 6483 total assets?
The 6483 is a cumulative dollar amount. That's what's left in the fund.
Okay, that's from left from previous years,
Well-
year or year.
Basically, what was there last year minus what we spent this year, that's what's left.
Okay, so what we spent this year, is that the 47,000?
No.
So
No.
where is the amount
We get
that
about
you-
140-some thousand in liquid fuels money.
And that's from the state?
That's from the state. And we started the year, probably, if you look at the net income, I don't know, 191,000.
Okay.
So that's, the 64 is really what's left after you take the surplus from last year, add it to what we got this year, and subtract all the bills.
Okay, so basically then, if this is the yearly, this is what's left to get you by for the rest of the year, or do you get more money does it come in
We
monthly?
won't get more money until April.
So it looks to me like the roads, the state fund for the roads are in big trouble
No,
based on this figure?
this is a normal thing from year to year.
Is it?
The state fund doesn't, it's not the only funding for our township roads
Okay.
and equipment. There's
This is
also money,
just
there's
extra
also
money that
money
comes
that
in.
comes out of the general
Okay.
fund for that too.
All right, thank you. Now, if I may, back to the,
Plus just so you know, communities where we have, I believe 200 ton town.
We have 200 ton of salt, and I don't know, 50 ton of anti-skid somewhere. We buy salt through the state every year on contract.
Somewhere.
Somewhere. It's in a shed. But
Somewhere.
the thing is, we contract to buy 400 ton. Because of the mild winter last year, we didn't take what we needed to take, and we had to take that before the new year started. So we ended up with about 200 ton up in storage at the PennDOT shed. We moved all our salt supplies up there a couple of years ago.
Okay. Thank you. Now, on the regular balance sheet, I'm just trying to understand where the income is shown on this sheet.
There is no income shown by line item on the sheet.
So is it shown anywhere for us to see where the monies come in as opposed to the expenses?
The only way it's shown is a profit and loss statement, which we don't do.
And may I ask why? Wouldn't that be a more precise way of letting the residents know the financial state of the township each month, if that were made public?
No.
So, it wouldn't, so...
No, because if you look at the balance sheet, okay, in every one of the accounts, it gives you a balance that, and that's actually what's in there as of this morning.
Okay, so that's what I go by, that's the total monies that we have right now.
And the
Plus-
and
plus
the
the-
liabilities are listed.
Plus the state liquid fuels.
Gotcha.
So actually, we're in pretty darn good shape.
Okay, that's what I was trying to figure out. All right, thank you.
Anybody else for public comment? Mr. Marino?
How you doing?
Good.
Remember John Marino with
Yes.
Justice Inspections? Just want to know where you guys are at as far as letting us, or voting on us to work alongside your other agencies within the municipality.
I don't think there has to be a vote done on it. I think if Carl feels the need to utilize your services, he will be contacted. It's all to Carl at this point.
Wouldn't it be a vote?
They're going to act as sole or contingent alternate. I don't know what word he's going to put on it, but UCC, third-party inspectors, we would have to go.
We would?
Yeah.
Even though it's basically professional service?
Under the UCC code, I believe you're still required to. It's a little different.
then I was.
Third party.
I was.
Third party administrator.
I was misunderstanding it.
Yeah, no, it's okay, sorry.
And I apologize, I was.
No, that's fine. And what I want to do is, in our proposal 2 months ago, I remember I stated that we will be giving 30% volume discount to all residential commercial projects, plus 50% to the Lakeland High School. What I say is always in paper, so I have it written down in paper to add to it. There's copies of the site. Thanks.
Yeah, the professional service thing, Dave, is only, when it's a professional service, you don't have to put it out for bid.
Correct.
But you still have to hire and appoint, in which case you would be doing it if you chose it. So would it be your pleasure to appoint NEIC?
Discuss that at our work session, and we'll put it at our
Okay.
next meeting. And the only reason I say that is because we already went through our motions.
Right.
I don't want to open the floor back up to that.
Put it on for November.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else want to comment? Yes?
Well, I wouldn't, Amy Moss. I would like to thank the board for making it possible for the preschool to remain open for, the remainder of the year. Some of the parents in the undergraduate class, I think Aaron probably has a question as well, are just wondering what's going to happen next year now.
Right now.
Are you going to do it on a yearly basis now, or?
Let me inform everybody of the whole story and the real story. What had happened was, as it was looked into, the preschool was running a deficit of 8316 that would happen by May when the children graduated. Okay. I have a personal interest in the preschool. My son goes there. I think it's a great class. It's a great service that's provided to the children. However, there's 18 children that attend that preschool right now. Okay. Out of that 18 children, 7 do not live in Scott Township. So 11 out of those 18 children live in Scott Township. I don't see how this board could fund $8,000 to that preschool, okay, when there's people, children benefiting from it that don't live in Scott Township. It's not fair to our residents. I mean, does everybody agree with that so far?
Well, if you got and you advertised and you got more people to come in and you flip a profit.
Okay, so let me continue. So having the problem that we had an executive session with preschool teachers, and what we came up with was they normally come in at 7:30 in the morning. Class starts at 8:30 in the morning. Okay, so we had asked them to come in at 8 o'clock in the morning instead of 7:30 in the morning, saving us 5 hours a week total. At a total between salaries and their workman's comp, what else, Eddie?
Workers' comp, 8.5% unemployment and 7.65 Social Security township contribution. Their salary basically are $33 an hour
Combined, okay? They agreed to that. So that being said, there is 126 days, I think, left, if my memory serves right. So if we times that by 33, it took us to $4,158. With that, we're only halfway, okay? So that's why we had to raise the tuition $1.15 an hour per child. The tuition right now is $4.20 per hour per child. Adding $1.15 to that makes it $5.35, which brings us even at the end of the year.
We can't justify borrowing $1 million in money to repave our roads and have to raise your taxes to supplement preschool. We're trying to run this as a business and at least break even.
I completely understand that.
And we're
but
trying to work with the
if
preschool.
it turns a profit, will it remain open?
That profit is reflected in the budget, and that's why they're still open, because they turned a profit last year.
Let me
But you were
answer.
just saying
Let
that
me
you were
answer that.
$8,000, you were gonna be $8,000 down, so you flipped a profit last year and there's the same amount of kids there?
$2,900
No,
less kids.
there was a lot more kids there. Let me finish, please. To answer your question, Amy, is will the preschool remain open next year? We have to look at the enrollment at that point. At that point, I think a decision will be made. If we have 8, 10 kids, I don't see how we can do it.
I completely understand that, and I agree with you, but will you let them advertise to try and get more
Absolutely,
people?
absolutely. I already discussed that.
Because when speaking to the teachers, they said that you guys never wanted it to be advertised. You don't want.
I don't think that's true. I don't have a problem with it.
You don't have a problem with advertising now, but in the past, have you had a problem with
No, it
advertising?
was never asked of me.
It was never asked.
No,
Okay.
no.
How about you, Eddie? Was it ever asked of you?
Not to advertise, no.
No.
And saying that, I don't think the township should pay to advertise for it.
I don't, that's where
If they want to advertise for it, that's fine.
That's perhaps the fine law.
It's income, right?
No,
If
it's
you-
a loss.
No, but if you
If you
advertise,
advertise
you
and you
get the
gain
people,
profit
it's
from
income.
it, then
Absolutely, absolutely, then it won't go anywhere. Next, Mr. Cameron.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem is the advertising myself, just being up at the school. I can't even imagine that people up at the Lakeland Elementary School here don't know it exists. But so many people I talk to, they don't know. And I understand exactly everything you guys are saying up there, and it doesn't make sense to take a loss on it. But, you said you're gonna treat it like a business, and, any of us are in business here, they understand that advertising, that's a key ingredient to business. And it's probably destined to failure without it.
No,
And I don't know how to get it to work with advertising, but I think it would be nice.
They
to
want to run
maybe-
craft fairs and other things, and they are
Yeah.
free to do that, to raise money through the Parent Teacher Association, and to use that money for advertising, not to supplement their incomes or the township.
So will a separate fund be set up for them so that when the
That is a separate fund.
there already is a separate fund for
Parent Teacher Association, yes.
I don't even think we see that, that's all handled by them.
It's all handled by them.
And that's where any of the fundraising would go, it wouldn't go back into the general fund.
Correct.
Correct.
I'm not familiar with the
Please state your name.
Adam Basilega. My children also attend the school. One child next year will have another one, so hopefully that'll contribute to the income. But is the pricing of the program currently below market rate, like in comparison to other commercial services? Is it subsidized to a lower price level because of the township?
From what I understand, from what I'm being told, I think we're at a norm.
We're at a norm.
And taking it at that 535.
Okay. I was wondering whether, if we're below the market, and the key is to raise the prices to more of an average of a market because it's subsidized by the township.
I just wanted to zero out at the end of the year. I don't
Oh, absolutely.
want it to make, I don't want it to make a profit.
Yeah.
I don't want to hurt the people and take extra money off the people if we don't have
Well,
it.
if you look at it from, if it's valuable to me, I would pay more money because my children love it there.
Now, so I will.
Right, so I have no problem paying more, and I think as long as the teachers are there providing a valuable service and it's not way above market, I don't think we'll have a problem selling it. But like everyone else said, I think the advertising is key.
I mean, I'm willing to jump in and help any way I possibly can also with this. I mean, like I said, I have a vested interest in it also. It was never meant to just say, you know what, you're closing down, that's it. Eddie and I spent the other day, I believe, well, going
I
back.
have basically slept for about 4 days over all this. We're trying to crunch numbers and get this so we don't have to take drastic measures, and it worked out.
Now, like I said, I'm very thankful that it is going to be still until May, but I do want to see it remain.
So do we.
It's been here for 28 years.
So
You
do
know,
we.
it's very valuable to the community to have that here, but you need to advertise it.
Is the preschool set up as a separate entity from the township, or is it ruled by the Township Supervisor's Board?
It's actually ruled by the Township Supervisors, by the board.
All right, has it ever been considered to let it kind of branch out, not completely separate from the township, but let the preschool, and with some assistance, develop their own board who can help solve these kind of problems before they get to you? And maybe the committee from the teachers or whatever can set something up, bring that before the board, and they could network and brainstorm to come up with ideas to save a valuable asset to the township. But also, regarding advertising, has there any, I'm not familiar with the preschool at all, so I'm trying to find out everything I can, and based on the need of the parents that I see here, it seems like it's something that could potentially grow. But without paying for advertising, there are other ways to get the word out. And one thing I'm wondering, has there ever been any kind of unity between the preschool and the Lakeland School District for any kind of meetings where you have a presentation for, you know, I know they do all kinds of, you know, career day type things or open programs that maybe parents or teachers can meet with the teachers there, the principal there, set up a day, an informational day where you can have a booth or a table set up at the school, send out a letter to parents and say, here's what is being offered in your township. Has anything been done like that?
We have been looking at setting up more of communications with the preschool, you know, between supervisors and the teachers. If it takes a committee, if you know, the teachers feel they want to put together a few parents and work on some ideas, by all means do so and bring it back to us. I know Mrs. Bozak has offered to do posters. Am I correct in saying that?
Yep.
And I think it's a great idea. You know, I mean, we need to look at things a little differently.
So then the next question is, do they have to get the approval of the Board of Supervisors to approach the school for that type of free advertising in regards to posters or informational booths?
I don't feel so, Rick. Is there a legal?
Well, it's arguably they would. Arguably they would need the permission of the township operates it technically. You know, I don't know. I think the school district has their own sort of preschool program at the school.
They run for a week. That's all they're saying. Even if they had a little sheet from those that attended that week.
Oh, is that all? It's
We
very
go to
different.
parents. I mean, you could even,
Okay.
that could be advertised.
It's very advertised.
Right. It's a student-facing project.
Put it this way, if they come to us and say, hey, we want to go do this, this, and that for advertisement, I don't think this board is going to say, no, you're not going to do it. By all means, go and do it.
And I want it to be known that the possibility of the preschool privatizing has been discussed by the board. That concept has been thrown around. And I want to further point out that my understanding is that the preschool's been here 28 years. Somebody's here, I know it's long before my 12 years here. But my understanding of the history is that it initially started off as an accommodation to township residents. It was to try to help the local residents, and it's never been something that I think